Welcome back to another episode of the Field of 68's off-season grades, and we are going to be breaking down the St. John's Red Storm, a potential preseason top 25 team in college basketball this year. And yes, it feels very awkward saying it, but this is why we are saying it, because they've more or less turned over their entire program. All right. I'm not going to talk about who left because that list is way too long. They are bringing back Joel Soriano. That's the one that matters. They are adding, are you ready for this? Get your pen and paper ready because we're going to be quizzing you afterwards. Brady Dunlap, RJ Luis, Sadako Abine-Ayo, Dennis Jenkins, Sean Conway, Naheem Aline, Cruz Davis, Quinn Slazinski, Glenn Taylor Jr., Jordan Dingle, Zubia Giafor, and Simeon Wilcher. Jeff, that's bearing the lead because their single biggest addition this past
season what are you doing?
Was the head coach, Rick Pitino.
I was wondering if you forgot.
Back in the Big East. I did not forget. I was getting there. Rick Pitino was back. What do you make of the Johnnies, Goodman?
All you got to do is say the words Rick Pitino. That's all you got to say for me, and I put him in the preseason top 25. Remember? I put him in there with 0 players, like 0, and I didn't care. I did not care. But he's put together a roster that's got a chance now. And I think the biggest addition was Jordan Dingle. He was the biggest addition for them coming from Penn, averaged about 23 points a game, son of Dana Dingle, which is crazy, by the way, that Dana Dingle played for Calipari at UMass. And Rick Pitino, who he and Calipari don't really like each other. Now Jordan Dingle's playing for Rick Pitino at St. John's. But I like him. They brought back Soriano. That was huge. And I think Dennis Jenkins is a high-ish level guard, like good enough. The one miss for all the hits, and he got enough of them, like Naheem Aline, really good piece, just won a national title, can shoot it, experience, older. The one miss was Walter Clayton. That's the one that I think hurt. Because if they brought in Walter Clayton, you know how much I love Walter Clayton. He went to Florida over St. John's. I think then you're talking about a team that might have been a second weekend type team. Now it's like, to me, all these new players, and some of them play together, obviously, a few of them at Iona, but the key guys mostly are new. RJ Luis and Jordan Dingle, and Soriano's new playing with this group, and Aline and Glenn Taylor Jr. at Oregon State. I just think it's going to take some time. But again, he did a good job. And St. John's is now relevant, Robert, for the first time in I don't know how long. I'm going to go to a St. John's game at the Garden, not like a doubleheader type. I'm going to go to a St. John's game this year.
Yeah, it's nice that the Johnnies are back to being the Johnnies, right? And I do think that they are a team that has enough to, I don't know if they can compete for a Big East regular season title, but they're certainly going to compete to finish in the top half of a league that probably has 3 to 4 teams that are capable of making it to the Elite Eight this year. So I'm getting Soriano back. He's the only guy that you can kind of circle and say, we know what we're going to get out of him, right? And look, I know that you love Walter Clayton Jr. I think that Jordan Dingle is probably better than Walter Clayton. And I do think that if you had to pick one of those two, you're getting maybe the better option there. Either way, you put him together. I think that you have 2 guards that are good enough with him and Dennis Jenkins. I think that you have wings that are experienced, that are going to be able to play the way that Rick wants to play. Naheem Aline is going to have a very good year, right? I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. He accepted a role at UConn last year, and he's better than averaging 5 points. He's going to he'll average 12 points a game this year. I think he's going to have a really good season. Quinn Slazinski is a floor spacer. Glenn Taylor is a guy that understands, like, he's transferring there from Oregon State because he wants to win. I'm very in on this. RJ Luis, we haven't mentioned RJ Luis. Like, they have a lot of good pieces, and the question is going to be, how quickly do they pick up what Rick wants to do? And I think that it'll be quick. Like, have we ever seen Pitino take over a job and like have a slow start and not get this thing going right away? Like, I think he's going to be just fine.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they're going to be a tournament team. I'd be shocked. They're going to be relevant in the Big East, make the Big East better. Now, the hard part for them is the Big East is loaded this year. So as good as Rick Pitino is, and again, you and I would probably say, along with Bill Self, he's probably the best coach in the country. he's got his work cut out for him, because the other guy we say is the best coach in the country is at Kansas, and he's been there. He's already been there and being able to establish a culture. He's got some guys coming back. Rick Pitino's still walking in. While Iona's not that far from St. John's, he hasn't been there. So he's got to still, establish a culture there, bring in all these new guys together, figure it out. So I think, again, if I'm looking at expectations, fair expectations for the St. John's team, I'm probably saying get in the tournament and win a game. And that's a good year.
Yeah, absolutely. Finish top half in the Big East. Be good enough that when you play Big East tournament games, they feel like home games, right? That's what you need if you're St. John's. That's the advantage that you have when it comes to playing in that building, right? If you can make that tournament be a home game for you, you got it. That you have a great leg up to being able to win some Big East tournaments, and then win a game of the tournament. And I think that you have a good year. Is the X factor just as simple as saying that this is a team that needs to figure it out under Rick Pitino? Because I think that's what I think it is, right? How long does it take for them to pick up what Pitino wants to be able to do?
I think it'll be the guards, the starting guards. Jenkins and Dingle have to be a top, 4 or 5 backcourt in the league, which is not going to be easy, but they could be. Like that's my take. They're both experienced. They're talented, and it might fall more on Jenkins, because I think he's wired to score. I think Jenkins, to me, without Walter Clayton now, he's got a little bit, I don't know, more on his shoulders, but more in terms of playmaking on his shoulders. He's got to be up to the challenge.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, grade their offseason. Can you grade it high enough?
I mean, I go, yeah. I mean, again, I think it was like an A-. I don't think I'd put him in like the Duke category with like A++. I think I'd give him like an A- at this point. Like, they did a good job, but we don't know how good like RJ Luis is going to be. And Glenn Taylor. How much have you seen Glenn Taylor Jr.? I saw him 3 times in Portland.
None of that matters. None of that matters. You know why?
Why?
Because they brought in the guy that's going to change the course of the program. It's
definitively
an A+.
Off-season, you're including Rick Pitino in that. I'm not including Rick Pitino. I'm saying Rick Pitino, what did he bring in? His off-season. I thought was like an A-. What he brought in.
Is
that fair?
I can get on board with that. You get Soriano back. Losing David Jones probably hurts you a little bit. Losing Posh Alexander hurts you a little bit. Although it may help you that may be one of those addition by subtraction kind of situation. Right. We'll always have the dreams of an Andre Curbelo, Posh Alexander backcourt.
I can't wait to get down to Hattiesburg and see Andre Curbelo this year. That's going to be a trip. Field of 68 trip to Hattiesburg, Mississippi this year.
We'll see. Listen, this has been another episode of the Field of 68's off-season grades in the sport of college basketball. You heard it here first. No one had a better coaching change than the St. John's Red Storm, adding the legend, Rick Pitino. Our partner for today's episode is Athletic Greens. I started taking AG1 during the college basketball season, and I loved the impact that it had on my energy levels. I'm a big coffee in the morning guy, but by the time that the afternoon would hit, I needed another boost. AG1 helped me tremendously, especially on those days when I didn't want to get up off the couch and go hit the gym. Their tagline is AG1 is comprehensive health and the power of habit in one. And man, that could not be more true. It's nearly impossible to eat and drink in a healthy manner in the month of February and the month of March when you are in my business. And AG1 was exactly the supplement that I needed to improve my gut health and cover my nutritional basis for the day. I've continued that into April. I've continued that into May, and I'm going to continue that the rest of the summer. All I have to do is mix a scoop of AG1 with some water or maybe add it into a smoothie, and I'm ready to go. Do it after lunch, and you'll be ready to go for the rest of the day. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/field68. That's field68, FIELD, the number 6, the number 8, and you can get yours now. So check it out and help support this show. Thanks.